Hello there, and thank you for tuning into our channel Interest Spot. Today we are showing you top 10 Pablo Escobar facts. Without further ado, let us begin. Number 10. How Pablo relates to competitors. The notorious Hacienda Nápoles of Pablo Escobar was transformed into a large ranch with eccentric sculptures, swimming pools, reproductions of drug addiction planes, and, most notably, a massive zoo in the 1980s. When authorities took over Hacienda Nápoles in the early 1990s, the animal collection protected elephants, giraffes, and hippos, thanks to Escobar's enthusiasm for sneaking animals onto the property. The hippos, by the way, are still alive and well, even though Escobar has been gone for a long time. The animals have escaped, flourished in the wild, and bred. The location is expected to have between 40 and 60 happy hippos wandering about today. Number 9. The reputation of a people's hero. Not everyone thinks of Pablo Escobar as a dangerous criminal. Many impoverished Colombians compared him to Robin Hood since he spent a large sum of money on different projects that aided the underprivileged. For the majority of Colombians, the drug lord is still a beloved but polarizing figure. At Medellin market booths, Pablito stickers with a fashion stencil portrait of a Che Guevara, of the evil thief, automatically sell more than Hello Kitty and Jesus. Well, the best thing is that people in Medellin can agree on whether Escobar is a part of their history. Some argue that their iconization doesn't make them particularly tough because they were too young to see their reign of terror. Others see him as a saint and a source of communal pride, down to the numerous items he lavished on the town's poorest residents to engender their devotion. On the other hand, others look sadly at Pablito's pop culture popularity due to apparent reasons. Number 8. He wasted a huge amount of money. Moving ahead, anecdotes may readily explain Escobar's actual riches. He believes that almost 10% of his wealth, or $2.1 billion, may be written off each year, owing to the possibility that rats could eat him in the storage, or that the currency could be damaged by water. Another popular reason for his fortune is that the cartel had to spend $2,500 each month merely to buy the rubber bands that held the payment piles together. Escobar's monetary courting became quite different from that of an average individual due to his excessive fortune. For one reason, Escobar and his family circle hid from his adversaries in a mountain hideaway throughout the final phases of his life. When the daughter's circle became hypothermic, Escobar intervened by setting $2 million on fire to keep her warm. Number 7. It was an insane fortune for him. Escobar's thieves, understandably, delivered him a large sum of money. It's also difficult to tell how wealthy he has gotten because he has amassed wealth through illegal activity. Even though everyone and his dog knew what Escobar was doing to a local, Forbes attempted to put the cartel leader's money to a song. The DEA is likely to have aided them in appreciating the importance of the drug lord's website, which might explain why the magazine looks forward to Escobar's death year. According to Forbes, Escobar was rated 6th among the world's billionaires, yet anyone may guess how much money he possessed. The majority of estimates place the value at approximately $25 billion. Number 6. His display of wealth. The Hacienda Nápoles, however, was not even Escobar's most costly accommodation. In 1991, the millionaire became dissatisfied with his life as a technological exile, constantly threatened by adversaries, and wanted to reduce his reliance on the government. Well, the peaceful final product was even costlier than his previous digs, a huge palace known as La Catedral that loomed above Medellin's capital. The cathedral included various facilities, such as a soccer field, a hot tub, and even a big dollhouse. Escobar arranged big celebrations and gatherings and played random soccer with the Colombian soccer team, while jail guards served beverages like waiters. In the end, a happy relationship rapidly turned sour when Escobar murdered his colleagues on the premises. Number 5. The ingenious techniques Pablo used to smuggle. The key to Escobar's success was creating solid smuggling channels for his product early on and effectively executing them, to the point that he was responsible for 80% of all cocaine in the United States during the height of his dominance. His decision to forego traditional drug mules in favor of tiny planes was piloted by Carlos Leda Rivas and George El Americano Jump. He could transfer up to 500 kilos of cocaine to the Bahamas on a solo flight, from which it could be transported to the United States. So, Escobar's drug manufacturing facilities were equally as ingenious. One had his entire team living in homes built on small wheels, the side of which revealed a secret landing strip. Escobar later moved to huge delivery planes that could carry up to 145 batches of the drug or even receive multiple remotely operated drug submarines from the Soviet Navy, once his lines were well established. Number 4. Politics in the life of Pablo. Even though he became one of the world's most infamous criminals and terrorists, Escobar's political ambitions in general, many of his Robin Hood exploits became a public figure in his marketing campaign for a congressional seat. He persisted in his ostensibly bourgeois way of doing things in Congress that would revitalize several sections of the city. Escobar, of course, had other motives. His dominant political consciousness moved to the fact that Colombian people could not be extradited to the United States, which became part of the man's private amusement with each component. This, though, ultimately stung his stern. The first is Colombia's Minister of Justice, Rodrigo Lara Bonilla, also known as the Gangster. Then a powerful journalist joined up to unearth an old news report confirming that Escobar had been arrested for possessing 39 pounds of cocaine when she was a teenager. As a result of this multi-pronged campaign, Escobar found himself in congressional spoils, trailed by the FBI, and forced to flee the border on the run. Number 3. Early in his career, he became a criminal. It might come as a blower that Escobar didn't have to put up with his slum image in any manner. He was born in Riongro on December 1, 1949, to a middle-aged mother and father but relocated to Envigado as a child. Escobar started generating clean money as a teenager, which is why he quickly slid into a criminal life. His early activities were tiny but ambitious. He smuggled radios and stole tombstones to promote his reputation. Even during his time as a criminal on the street, Escobar headed his circle of relatives and friends who would one day become Colombia's president. Finally, the young Pablo saw a new trade. Colombia's neighbors, including Peru and Bolivia, had massively produced the coca leaf. He even began smuggling a positive drug created from the called plant, cocaine. As the saying goes, the rest is history. Number 2. A look at his plata or plomo policy and death toll. Pablo Escobar had lost his charm, especially after being bought in his manner. As a result, his competitors began to incorporate lead into their well-known routine. The Cali cartel, controlled with the aid of Gilberto Rodriguez Orgila, a much older Machiavellian nicknamed the chess player, became one of his favorite targets. Even though Escobar's Medellin cartel had taken control of the game, the Cali cartel was on the verge of going out of business. Cali evolved into a kinder and more courteous organization that sought to follow more civilized processes and have a close relationship with society, rather than control it with an iron hand. When Escobar and Medellin were preoccupied equipping their soldiers with guns and bombs, the Cali cartel skillfully avoided the attack by losing sight of one another and silently returning to the paintings where the dirt had fallen. The consequence led them to move more cocaine than Escobar with the aid of 1989. Number 1. An enigmatic drug lord has died. Who was behind the assassination of drug kingpin Pablo Escobar? The solution has remained a mystery. It was December 2, 1993, when he was shot and murdered while attempting to pull down a roof of a party of assassins storming his hideaway in Medellin. Many people think he was assassinated with the aid of troops from the Search Block, a special police team meant to hunt drug traffickers. If you do not know, the case was based on well-known images of Colombian government officials posing with his body. Some revaluations, however, imply that the individuals in the photo had no involvement in Escobar's killing, or, if they did, that they were no longer genuine police officers or soldiers. Escobar was also pursued by a group known as People Persecuted with the Assistance of Pablo Escobar, or Los Pepes for short, with the aid of the millionaire thief. This sensational squad of vigilantes included paramilitary suspects, competing drug traffickers, and regular individuals who were hated or indifferent. This far less genuine group may have gotten funding from Escobar's deadly foe, the Cali cartel, and according to persistent allegations, has received significant backing from the US and Colombian governments. Yes, officials have dispatched a ruthless squad of assassins to deal with Escobar as quickly as possible. So that concludes today's video, incorporating all necessary facts. What are your opinions on the great Pablo Escobar? Please share your thoughts in the comments area below. To stay up to date, click the subscribe button.